Hello friends. What do you get when you blend the intuitive sensitivity of a Cancer with the clever, resourceful energy of the Chinese zodiac's rat? You get one of the most fascinating, complex, and dynamic personalities in the entire astrological spectrum. A person born under the sign of Cancer in the year of the rat is a walking paradox, emotionally deep yet strategically sharp, nurturing but power-hungry, introverted yet socially magnetic. Let's take a deep dive into the emotional ocean and mental maze of the Cancer rat personality. Buckle up, because this is a journey through love, sex, marriage, friendship, business, shadows, and dreams. Love, a soft shell with a steel core. Loving a Cancer rat is like peeling layers from an enchanted fruit, soft on the outside, complex at the center, and filled with unexpected twists that blend emotion with precision. At first glance, you may think you've met someone sweet, nurturing, maybe even a little shy. But take one step deeper, and you'll find a mind that calculates every emotional risk before it invests a single drop of affection. This dual nature, the warm tenderness of Cancer wrapped around the calculating brilliance of the rat, makes their love both enchanting and elusive. You'll feel chosen, but you'll also feel tested. Their love is not given, it is earned. They love through protection. To be loved by a Cancer rat is to be guarded like something sacred. They will wrap you in emotional safety, shelter you from chaos, and create a world where you can be vulnerable without fear. But this protection has layers. It's not just emotional, it's territorial. They become watchful, possessive in quiet ways, sensing threats to the relationship before you even notice them. You may not see jealousy on the surface, but it simmers underneath in measured doses. Their protectiveness is a form of love, but also a form of control, because loving you means securing you, both from others and from the possibility of leaving. They fall for minds before they fall for bodies. Physical attraction may spark interest, but it's emotional depth and intellectual strength that ignite real passion. A Cancer rat doesn't just want someone pretty, they want someone perceptive, someone who sees beyond the obvious. They are magnetized by people who carry mystery, who hold space for nuance, who can talk about the stars but also stay grounded in the real. Emotional intelligence is their ultimate aphrodisiac. They will adore you for your empathy, your insight, your ability to hold space for their contradictions. And once you've captured their mind, the rest follows naturally, because they don't separate emotional connection from romantic attraction. They're not afraid of vulnerability, but they pace it like a ritual. A Cancer rat wants to open up, truly, but only after watching how you react to their smaller confessions. They'll reveal things in fragments, a childhood fear here, a personal loss there. And every piece you receive is a test. Do you handle their emotions with care? Do you validate, or do you flinch? If you pass, you'll slowly unlock access to the deepest parts of them, their dreams, insecurities, hopes, and pain. But rush them, and they'll retreat. Push too hard, and they'll vanish. They reveal themselves in phases, like the moon they're ruled by, ever-changing, always watching. They mix romantic idealism with hyper-realistic caution. Cancer dreams of true love. The rat, however, keeps a ledger. So while they may daydream about growing old with you, holding hands in the garden and whispering secrets beneath the stars, they're also keeping emotional receipts. How often do you check in? Do you keep your word? Do you give as much as you take? Their love is a paradox, deeply sentimental, yet quietly transactional. They give generously, but they track what they give. They're not being petty, they just fear being used. So if they sense an imbalance, even slightly, they'll adjust. Not always with confrontation, sometimes just with distance. They love hardest in private. Grand public gestures aren't really their thing. Cancer rats are more interested in the secret moments. Handwritten notes left under pillows, surprise dinners on hard days, checking your astrological chart just to understand you better. Their love is quiet but constant, expressed in action more than in words. They won't always say, "I love you," out loud, but they'll notice when you're stressed, make your favorite tea without being asked, and text you just to say they had a dream about you. Their affection is an ecosystem. It grows with care, thrives in subtlety, and survives even when the world outside is cold. They need emotional reassurance, even when they pretend they don't. This is the part few people see. The Cancer side of them feels deeply insecure at times, afraid of abandonment, rejection, or emotional exposure. But the rat won't show it. They'll pretend everything's fine, they'll act unbothered, they'll bury their doubts behind jokes or busyness. But inside, they crave confirmation. Are you still here? Do you still love me? Am I still safe with you? They won't beg for it. They'll test you for it. And if you fail those tests too often, they'll emotionally check out long before the breakup ever happens. They are all or nothing. A Cancer rat doesn't half love. They either invest fully or they walk away completely. If they love you, you will feel it in every part of your life. You'll feel it in the way they study you when you talk, the way they protect you when you're not around, the way they include you in their long-term plans. But if something breaks that trust, if they feel disrespected, neglected, or manipulated, they'll end it cleanly. Maybe not with a dramatic scene, maybe not with final words. But one day, you'll notice their energy is gone. Their affection will be a memory, and it won't come back. To love a Cancer rat is to sign up for depth, complexity, and a connection that refuses to be shallow. It's not easy, it's not light, but it is real. If you're willing to dive in fully, to earn their trust, to respect their boundaries, to honor their emotional logic, you'll receive a love so rare, it feels like magic. But if you're only half in, they'll sense it. And when they walk away, it won't be with anger. It'll be with quiet finality. Because to them, love is sacred. And sacred things deserve to be protected, even from you. Marriage, the fortress of loyalty. When a Cancer rat enters into marriage, they see it not as a symbolic gesture or legal agreement, but as the foundation of an emotional empire. To them, marriage is where loyalty, legacy, and love converge into a life mission. They don't marry casually. It's a process, a slow, deliberate calculation of trust, timing, and emotional synergy. They ask, can I build with this person? Will they protect what we create? Are they loyal when no one's watching? If the answer is yes, their commitment becomes unshakable. They don't just offer love, they offer their future, and they expect that same devotion in return. Cancer brings the instinct to nurture, to build a home filled with warmth, tradition, and quiet rituals. Their dream marriage includes Sunday dinners, holiday routines, and emotional safety nets. They imagine a world where everything is remembered and everyone feels seen. But the rat adds another layer: ambition, strategy, vision. While Cancer is choosing matching holiday pajamas, the rat is mapping out financial goals, legacy investments, and multi-generational security. This creates a dynamic within the Cancer rat that is both emotionally grounding and intellectually expansive. Marriage isn't just about affection, it's about evolution together. They want to grow as a unit, and they want that growth to be tangible. They are fiercely loyal, but that loyalty comes with conditions. Once you're married to a Cancer rat, they will have your back through heartbreak, failure, or illness. They will defend you behind closed doors and in public. But they also demand loyalty in return, not just fidelity, but emotional consistency, respect, and shared goals. To them, marriage is sacred, and betrayal, whether emotional or physical, cuts deep. They may say they forgive, and part of them might want to. But deep down, a permanent crack forms. And if that betrayal is repeated, they will shut down. Quietly, finally, like a steel door closing in their heart. When they leave emotionally, they don't come back. They need control, but it's driven by a desire to protect, not dominate. One of the defining traits of a Cancer rat in marriage is their strong sense of direction. They often believe they know what's best, not just for themselves, but for the relationship. They want to manage the finances, make the big life decisions, and control the family narrative. This isn't born out of arrogance, but out of deep-rooted fear. Fear of instability, fear of betrayal, fear of failure. So they grip tightly, sometimes too tightly. They need a partner who can gently challenge them, who can remind them that control doesn't always equal security, and that shared leadership makes the foundation even stronger. They see their spouse as a partner in every realm, emotional, practical, and spiritual. Marriage to them means more than shared bills or parenting. It's about having someone who will plan the escape route in a crisis, talk about mortality without flinching, and dream about retirement with equal intensity. They want a co-pilot, not a passenger. Someone who will check the flight path, not just enjoy the view. This is why they often end up marrying people who are competent, reliable, and emotionally intuitive. They may fall in love with passion, but they marry with precision. They ask themselves, can I trust this person with my secrets, my goals, my worst days? They build marriage on memory, both sweet and sharp. Cancer rats are historians of their own love story. They'll remember the first time you cooked together, the exact words you said when you apologized, the way your eyes looked when you were nervous about something. They build an internal archive of emotional data, and this archive shapes how they love. But it's a double-edged sword. While they'll cherish your beautiful moments forever, they'll also remember every argument, every broken promise, every wound that was never properly addressed. They carry the entire relationship inside them, like a living library. And if that library fills with too many negative chapters, they'll close the book without warning. Their version of forever is built one decision at a time. For a Cancer rat, forever doesn't mean complacency. It means daily choosing your partner again and again. Every day is a silent recommitment. Every moment is a new vote for the relationship. That's how they view marriage. Not as something you enter and then relax into, but as something you tend like a sacred fire. You have to nurture it, protect it, feed it with effort, affection, and truth. They want a partner who understands that longevity is not guaranteed, it's maintained. They'll do their part, and if you do yours, they'll never walk away. Not because they can't, but because they won't. To be married to a Cancer rat is to be woven into a love story that spans generations. They don't just want to be good partners, they want to be legendary ones. If you match their loyalty, respect their need for structure, and help them feel emotionally safe, they'll give you a marriage that feels like both sanctuary and strategy. But betray them, neglect them, or make them feel like they're building alone, and you'll find their loyalty has limits. Their love is fierce, intelligent, and long-lasting, but it is never blind. Once they see you clearly, they will choose, stay forever, or walk away for good. Sex, subtle fire, deep waters. Sex with a Cancer rat is never just physical. It's an experience crafted from layers of emotion, perception, and unspoken desire. On the surface, they may seem reserved, even shy, but underneath that composed demeanor lies a sensual world that's patient, deeply personal, and meticulously intuitive. They don't approach sex with bravado or shallow impulsivity. Instead, they treat it like a sacred, sensual language spoken in whispers and felt in glances. With them, seduction starts long before the bedroom. It begins in the kitchen, in the way they brush your hand when passing by, in the soft smile during a quiet moment, in the long silence that says, I see you. Cancer's emotional core makes them crave meaning in sexual connection. They aren't interested in mechanical routines or disconnected passion. There has to be a story behind the touch, a bond beneath the skin. They want to feel that they matter to you, that the intimacy is an extension of emotional trust. This doesn't mean they need candlelight and rose petals every time. What they need is presence. They want to know that when you're with them, body and soul. Every caress, every glance, every breath exchanged is part of something deeper, a merging of spirits, not just skin. But the rat, clever and precise, adds an unexpected dimension, strategy. Where Cancer brings vulnerability, rat brings curiosity and control. They observe what you react to, they remember what makes you moan, and they file it all away like a sensual architect building an ever-evolving design. They may not speak about it openly, but they're always learning you, your needs, your rhythms, your silent signals. This makes them remarkably adaptable lovers, able to shift between slow tenderness and confident dominance. They don't just want to please you, they want to master the art of pleasing you, but in a way that feels effortless and organic. Once trust is established, their erotic intelligence reveals itself fully. While they may enter a relationship cautiously, often waiting for emotional security before fully opening up, once they feel safe, the transformation is striking. The shy glances are replaced by locked eye contact. The gentle touches become deliberate. They'll begin to explore fantasies, quietly, tastefully, but undeniably, with the kind of poise that makes you wonder how much they've been holding back. They enjoy discovering new sides of themselves through you, and once they trust you, they won't hold back. They'll let you into their private world, a space that's passionate, playful, and deeply imaginative. They are givers in bed, but with expectations. Cancer rats derive genuine pleasure from their partner's pleasure. They love learning what makes you melt, and they take pride in creating intimate environments where your guard can drop completely. But this generosity is not one-sided. They want to feel desired just as much. They need to know you see them, not just as a lover, but as a being with needs, cravings, and a fragile heart under the confidence. If their efforts go unnoticed or unreciprocated, they'll withdraw, not necessarily out of spite, but as a protective reflex. Reciprocity, emotional acknowledgement, and mutual vulnerability fuel their sexual drive. Fantasy for them is deeply emotional and layered in symbolism. They're not typically wild exhibitionists or extreme experimenters, but they absolutely have a fantasy life, and it's richer than they let on. Their fantasies often involve storylines, scenarios that tap into emotional archetypes: trust, surrender, protection, power held and gently shared. Maybe it's the forbidden teacher-student dynamic, or the slow burn of being seduced by someone who shouldn't want them. Whatever it is, it's rarely about shock value. It's about emotional intensity, about creating moments that feel impossible to forget. And if they trust you, they'll share those fantasies not with bold declarations, but with subtle, almost poetic cues. Sex, for the Cancer rat, is a spiritual offering wrapped in a strategic dance. It's where they balance their need for safety with their hunger for depth. It's where they let go of control, but only in environments they've carefully curated. It's where their softest self meets their most confident instincts, creating a dynamic that feels less like a performance and more like a private ritual. To be desired by a Cancer rat is to be chosen with care. To be touched by them is to be studied, understood, and memorized. They don't rush, they don't fake, they don't repeat unless it matters. And when it matters, sex with them feels like being seen from the inside out. Friendship, selective circles, soul-level bonds. Friendship with a Cancer rat is never accidental, it's curated. These individuals do not open their hearts to just anyone. They observe, they wait, and they analyze before deciding if someone is worthy of entering their inner circle. To the outside world, they may appear sociable, even warm, but beneath that composed friendliness is a filtering process sharper than most people realize. They don't just want acquaintances, they want allies. They look for emotional honesty, loyalty under pressure, and a quiet strength that doesn't crave the spotlight. Becoming their friend is less like being invited to a party and more like being accepted into a secret society with unspoken rules and lifetime expectations. Their trust must be earned slowly, deliberately, and consistently. At the beginning of any friendship, the Cancer rat keeps their emotional guard firmly in place. You may think you're bonding, but really, they're watching how you handle disappointment, how you talk about other people, how you show up when no one's keeping score. Trust is not something they hand over, it's something you build, brick by brick. They might test you without you realizing it, revealing a small secret, inviting you into a vulnerable moment, or leaning on you emotionally just to see if you flinch. Fail to show up when it matters, and they will never forget. Pass their tests, and they will let you in, not just into their life, but into their soul. Loyalty in friendship is everything to them, above humor, shared interests, or convenience. Cancer rats value friends who stand by them through discomfort, who don't flinch when life gets messy, and who can be trusted in both presence and absence. If they find out you spoke poorly of them behind their back or neglected them when they were down, they won't rage, they'll vanish. Quietly, completely, and without ceremony. They don't believe in second chances once loyalty has been breached. To them, that isn't just a mistake, it's a character flaw. They'd rather have 3 loyal friends than 30 fair-weather ones. Their social circle is small by design, and each friend inside it is held with reverence. Their friendships are emotionally intense, sometimes to the point of feeling like chosen family. Cancer brings deep emotional resonance into every close bond. They remember your childhood traumas, know what triggers you, and instinctively sense when something's wrong. Rat adds a layer of resourcefulness and readiness. They're the ones who show up when you're locked out, when your car breaks down, or when you're emotionally unraveling. These aren't surface-level interactions. When they care about you, they invest in your health, your future, your goals. And they expect that same intensity in return. If you go quiet during a hard time and don't let them in, they won't just feel hurt, they'll feel rejected. Because in their world, true friendship means showing up when it's uncomfortable. They are exceptionally private, and they expect you to honor that. Cancer rats often guard their own lives like a fortress. You might know of their struggles, but not all the details. They reveal themselves slowly and deliberately. When they do share something personal, it's not casual, it's sacred. So if you ever betray that confidence, even lightly, they will retreat behind emotional walls you'll never climb again. They don't need constant attention or dramatic affirmations, but they do need to know their inner world is respected. Gossip, disloyalty, or sharing their secrets, especially in their absence, is one of the fastest ways to lose them forever. They're not the loudest friend, but they are the most dependable. Cancer rats are the ones who remember your big interview, your mom's surgery, or that one random detail you mentioned in a late-night call 6 months ago. They send thoughtful texts when you least expect it, bring you soup when you're sick, and offer help before you ask. Their support often comes in quiet, steady ways, never performative, always sincere. They're not chasing likes or making friendship a social currency. They're simply there, again and again, in moments that matter. And in today's world of performative connection, that kind of friendship is gold. To have a Cancer rat as a friend is to have someone who sees you. All of you, the polished and the broken. And who chooses you anyway. But be warned, the intensity of their loyalty is not for the casual or the flaky. This isn't a friendship you drift in and out of. This is a soul contract. And if you honor it, if you love them as fiercely as they love you, you'll never be alone again. You'll have a bond that weathers distance, time, and change. But if you break that bond, even once, they won't confront you, they'll simply disappear. Not because they don't care, but because caring, for them, is sacred. And once it's been devalued, they refuse to place it in your hands again. Business, calculated brilliance behind a gentle smile. In the business world, the Cancer rat operates like a velvet-gloved strategist, soft-spoken, calm, maybe even a little self-effacing on the surface. But don't be fooled. Beneath that modest presentation is a razor-sharp intellect, a long-term vision, and an intuitive understanding of power dynamics. They don't chase clout or make loud entrances, because they're not here to impress, they're here to own the board. Business is where the rat's mental agility meets Cancer's emotional depth, resulting in a rare combination. Someone who can play the long game with empathy, restraint, and ruthless precision when necessary. The rat side of them is endlessly resourceful, agile, and future-focused. They're natural strategists, wired to see beyond the now. They spot inefficiencies, gaps in the market, and emerging patterns long before others catch on. Whether they're running a small startup or managing complex systems within a corporation, they excel at transforming chaos into structure. They plan meticulously and pivot quickly when needed, not because they're reactionary, but because they've already run simulations in their head. The rat doesn't panic, it adjusts. And when money's on the line, that trait becomes a superpower. Cancer adds emotional intelligence and caution into the equation. While the rat might be ready to jump on the next opportunity, Cancer makes sure the foundation is solid first. This prevents reckless decisions and ensures that every risk is calculated. Cancer also tunes into the emotional tone of the workplace. They read rooms like seasoned diplomats, understanding which team member needs encouragement, who's on the verge of burnout, and how to diffuse tension without ever raising their voice. This emotional radar is an underrated asset. It makes them incredible team leaders, managers, and even founders, not because they dominate the room, but because they listen harder than everyone else. They are rarely the face of the brand, but they often control the brand's future. The Cancer rat isn't drawn to the spotlight. They're more interested in being the architect behind the curtain. While others are posting photos from networking events, they're negotiating the contract that will quietly triple their profit margin. Their success is often invisible, until it's undeniable. You'll look up one day and realize they're not just at the table, they own the table. And because they didn't brag along the way, their power hits harder. Their moves are subtle, but their impact is seismic. They don't announce their plans. They let the results speak for them. They are exceptionally good at reading people, and using that insight to close deals, build trust, and avoid risk. This combination of Cancer's emotional intuition and Rat's strategic mind makes them powerful in negotiations. They know when to push, when to pull back, and when to say nothing at all. They'll disarm you with politeness, make you feel seen, then walk away having gotten exactly what they wanted. Their opponents often underestimate them because of their gentle tone or understated presence, and that's exactly how the Cancer rat wins. By the time you realize they outmaneuvered you, they've already signed the paperwork and built 2 exit strategies. Their leadership style is quiet, loyal, and terrifyingly effective. Cancer rats don't bark orders or demand loyalty, they earn it. They lead by example, by consistency, and by showing up even when no one's watching. People follow them not out of fear, but out of respect. They remember birthdays, take accountability when something goes wrong, and always credit the team. But make no mistake, they're not soft. Cross them, sabotage the mission, or disrespect the trust they've built, and they will remove you from the equation without drama, without warning, and without looking back. They don't do revenge, they do deletion. Clean, silent, and final. They build empires slowly, intentionally, and without compromising their values. Cancer rats don't chase get-rich-quick schemes. They're not interested in overnight success. Their goal is sustainable power. They want businesses that outlive trends, investments that mature over time, and networks that are rooted in mutual respect. To them, success isn't measured by applause, it's measured by legacy. They might work from the background, but every move they make is toward a future where their name carries quiet weight. You won't see them on reality TV or screaming into a mic at conferences. But years from now, when the noise has faded, they'll still be thriving. Because their motto isn't win now, it's win forever. To underestimate a Cancer rat in business is to ignore the silent force that moves markets and shapes futures. They don't chase attention, they chase alignment. And when they find it, they build structures so solid, even storms can't shake them. If you partner with them, expect loyalty, insight, and vision. If you compete with them, prepare for a war you won't see coming. Because behind their gentle smile is a mind that never stops calculating, and a will that never, ever quits. Dark sides, control, paranoia, and emotional warfare. The Cancer rat's dark side doesn't enter loudly. It arrives quietly, like a storm you didn't notice gathering until it's already over your head. For a sign so full of nurturing energy, compassion, and loyalty, their shadows are unexpectedly sharp. The very qualities that make them such strong partners and allies, emotional depth, strategic thinking, devotion, can, when twisted by fear or betrayal, become their most dangerous weapons. This is not someone who lashes out randomly. This is someone who waits, watches, and remembers. Their darkness is methodical, subtle, and when it surfaces, it changes the entire emotional temperature of the room. Their need for control can become obsessive. Cancer rats are natural planners. They don't thrive in chaos. They need order, predictability, and emotional structure. But when life refuses to follow their internal blueprint, panic begins to set in. That panic often disguises itself as micromanagement, criticism, or passive dominance. They'll start telling you how to handle things that aren't theirs to control. If you push back, they may back off publicly, but quietly double down behind the scenes. They believe that without their oversight, everything will fall apart. So even their love becomes entangled in control, not because they want to overpower, but because they can't stomach uncertainty. Their emotional sensitivity can spiral into manipulation. A wounded Cancer rat rarely explodes. Instead, they withdraw affection, go cold, or play the victim card so convincingly that you start questioning yourself. It's not that they want to manipulate out of malice, it's that they feel safer guiding your reactions than facing rejection head-on. They may use silence as punishment, mood swings as leverage, or indirect comments that hit you harder than outright confrontation. These tactics are quiet, hard to pin down, and often leave their target feeling like they've done something wrong without knowing what. It's not always conscious cruelty, it's emotional survival disguised as strategy. Paranoia runs deep when trust is broken, or even slightly cracked. The rat is naturally suspicious, always scanning for betrayal, while Cancer fears emotional abandonment. Together, they form a personality that can spiral into distrust even when nothing's wrong. They'll read between texts, analyze tone of voice, and assume the worst based on intuition alone. You can be doing everything right, but if they've been hurt before, or if they sense a pattern they associate with pain, they'll start building emotional walls fast. This paranoia makes them hard to reassure once the seed of doubt is planted. Logic won't win them back. You'll have to prove your intentions through time, patience, and consistency. They know your weaknesses, and may use them if they feel cornered. This is where their dark side becomes truly dangerous. Cancer rats are incredible observers. In relationships, they learn your emotional soft spots not to exploit them, but to protect you. Until you hurt them, then those same insights can be weaponized. They won't scream, threaten, or humiliate you. They'll say just enough to make you ache. They'll hit where it stings most, with a sentence, a glance, or silence that echoes longer than any fight. They don't want to destroy you. They want to remind you that you underestimated the depths they're capable of. They strike only when they feel they must. But when they do, it's surgical. They hold grudges like sacred relics. Cancer rats don't forgive easily, not because they want to stay angry, but because forgetting feels like erasing a survival lesson. If you betray them, the moment you said sorry won't be the one they remember. They'll remember how it felt. They'll remember how you looked when you lied, how you sounded when you didn't show up. That memory will live in them, tucked away but active, ready to influence future interactions. They may continue smiling, working with you, or staying in your life, but a part of them has closed. They never forget the blueprint of pain, and they'll make sure it never happens again. Their version of revenge is silence, distance, and removal. Cancer rats don't need chaos to hurt you, they simply vanish. One day you're in their world, and the next you're locked out. No text, no explanation, no warning. Just an emotional blackout, and it's not impulsive, it's a calculated decision that's likely been forming for weeks. While others scream and slam doors, they delete. Efficiently, quietly, finally. Their revenge isn't about destroying you, it's about protecting themselves so completely that you can never reach them again. And once they've made that decision, there's no path back, not because they hate you, but because they once loved you too deeply to let you hold power again. The dark side of the Cancer rat is a mirror of their brilliance. Their strengths, empathy, memory, emotional strategy, don't disappear when they're wounded. They simply turn inward, become colder, sharper, more defensive. When they feel betrayed or endangered, the softness retracts, and you're left facing something calculated and deeply protective. They don't explode, they evolve into something quieter, more distant, and sometimes unrecognizable. But make no mistake, their darkness isn't just about hurting others. It's about making sure no one ever gets close enough to hurt them the same way again. Life goals, legacy, loyalty, and inner peace. The driving force behind a Cancer rat's life isn't glory, attention, or applause. It's something far quieter, deeper, and more enduring. They want a life that matters, not in a fleeting, look at me way, but in a soul-rooted sense of impact. Every decision they make is a step toward something lasting, emotional safety, meaningful relationships, and a personal legacy that will outlive them. For them, success is measured not by volume but by depth. They don't need to be known by everyone, they need to be remembered by the right ones. And everything they build is filtered through that lens of significance. Emotional security is not optional, it is foundational. Cancer rats need to feel safe to thrive. That doesn't just mean financial stability or a roof over their head. It means knowing where they stand with the people they love, having relationships that aren't built on shifting sand, and surrounding themselves with those who understand them deeply. They are often the emotional backbone in their families and friend groups, which means they carry a lot of unspoken responsibility. But for all they give, they quietly long for someone, or something, that gives back. A space, a person, a purpose that makes them feel as protected as they strive to make others feel. Legacy is more than just a dream, it's a blueprint they work toward every single day. The Cancer side wants to nurture something meaningful, something that lives beyond them, whether it's a family, a creative body of work, or a generational business. The Rat side adds strategy and stamina. They won't just dream about leaving their mark, they'll build the systems, make the sacrifices, and calculate the moves to make sure it sticks. Their idea of fulfillment is waking up decades from now, knowing that they poured their energy into something that still stands. Something with their fingerprints all over it, even if their name never was. Loyalty isn't just a value, it's a religion. The Cancer Rat places high importance on the people they love and the emotional contracts they form. Friendships, partnerships, family ties, these are sacred. They aim to surround themselves with people who don't just share laughs but share burdens. People who show up without being asked, who keep secrets like vaults, and who grow with them rather than outgrow them. In return, the Cancer Rat is unwavering. They'll go to the ends of the earth for their inner circle. But this deep reverence for loyalty also creates deep scars when betrayed. Their goal isn't just to find loyal people, but to build a life in which loyalty is the standard, not the exception. They want their life to feel quietly profound, not loudly performative. Most Cancer Rats would never chase a spotlight unless it was necessary for a greater mission. Fame doesn't excite them, impact does. They prefer to be the person behind the person, the architect no one saw coming. The one whose work, influence, or nurturing shaped something greater. They want to be the reason someone else was able to shine. And yet, they still want recognition, not public but personal. A quiet thank you, a private moment of respect, a legacy of love and wisdom passed down like heirlooms. Those acknowledgments mean more to them than any award ever could. Peace is their ultimate destination, and their hardest battle. With all their loyalty, their ambitions, and their emotional intelligence, the Cancer Rat often finds themselves in environments that drain rather than feed them. They give more than they receive. They lead while carrying invisible emotional weights. So inner peace, true, uncluttered calm, is both a dream and a daily pursuit. They long for a life where they don't have to overthink every relationship, every risk, every wound. A life where love is stable, success is steady, and the noise of insecurity goes silent. Peace, to them, isn't about stillness alone, it's about knowing their life is aligned with their soul. They want to live with purpose and leave with meaning. When all is said and done, the Cancer Rat isn't trying to go viral or go big, they're trying to go deep. Into love, into loyalty, into legacy. They want to create things, relationships, businesses, ideas, that feel eternal. They want to matter to the people who matter to them. They want to know they made someone feel safe, understood, cherished. And when they leave this world, they don't need statues or headlines. They need someone, somewhere, to say, they changed my life. And they never ask for credit. That's not just their goal. That's their definition of success. So, if you know a Cancer Rat, or if you are one, remember this. You are a living contradiction, a masterpiece of emotional complexity and mental calculation. On one hand, you are softness personified, gentle, nurturing, profoundly empathetic. You feel deeply, sometimes painfully so. You carry not only your own emotions, but those of the people around you, absorbing tension like a sponge and offering comfort like a warm light in the dark. You remember the unspoken things. You hold space for others. You love with a tenderness that feels ancient. But on the other hand, you are a strategist, a tactician, a quiet force of will. You move through the world with plans layered beneath each smile. You anticipate outcomes before anyone else knows a game has started. You protect your heart with intelligence and precision. You give, but always watch who takes. You are soft yet shrewd, and that is your power. The world often tries to force a binary. You must be strong or sensitive, logical or emotional, assertive or caring. But you reject that. You are both, always. You lead with empathy, but you never forget the rules of the game. You can be the emotional anchor in someone's life while also being 5 steps ahead in your own. You'll cry with someone at midnight and close a major deal by morning. You don't wear your strength on your sleeve, but it's there, quietly rooted in your ability to feel and act, to nurture and defend, to build bridges while drawing firm boundaries. Your shrewdness doesn't dilute your heart, it protects it. You are loving but calculating, and that makes your love rare. You do not love lightly. You observe first, test second, trust slowly, and only when your intuition gives the green light. But once you commit, you are all in. Your love is deliberate, your affection is earned, not scattered. You're not the type to fall in love every weekend, or to chase shallow thrills. You seek substance, safety, and soul-level connection. But even in your deepest feelings, you never surrender your discernment. You see people for who they are, not just who you wish they could be. And that's what makes your love both so healing and so selective. It's built on emotional wisdom, not romantic fantasy. You build emotional castles, with steel reinforcements. Your inner world is vast, intricate, and sacred. You don't let just anyone in. Those who enter must earn their key through trust, consistency, and care. You decorate your relationships with rituals, remembered birthdays, late-night texts, shared silence. But don't mistake your warmth for weakness. The castle you build is fortified. There are walls, guards, escape tunnels. You've designed it to survive storms, because you know storms come. You've been betrayed before. You've been underestimated. So you learned. You adapted. You turned pain into strategy, and now your softness exists inside a structure of resilience. You are emotional, yes. But you are not unguarded. And that balance, it's your genius. If someone gets the honor of being in your world, they better deserve it. You're not impressed by charm, status, or surface-level appeal. What matters to you is character, integrity, loyalty, honesty when it counts. You don't need people to be perfect. You need them to be real. You don't require constant attention or praise. You require presence, trustworthiness, and emotional fluency. And if someone can offer that, truly offer it, you'll give them a place in your life that few ever reach. You'll show up for them in ways they didn't know they needed. You'll protect, encourage, and fight beside them. But if they lie, use, or betray you, you'll walk away with quiet finality. Because being in your life is a privilege, not a right. So, if you are a Cancer rat, know this. Your contradictions are not flaws, they are your signature. Your emotional insight is not a burden, it's your compass. Your caution is not fear, it's wisdom. And your ability to love with such intensity while still guarding your peace is nothing short of revolutionary. You are a soul with layers, a mind with depth, a heart with armor. And in a world that often values speed over substance, your presence is a quiet kind of rebellion. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to perform to be worthy. You just need to keep building, protecting, and living with the kind of intentionality that turns a life into a legacy. Because if there's one truth that defines you, it's this. You were never meant to be easy to know. You were meant to be unforgettable.